Hey guys, welcome to section 3 and section 4 of the pre-algebra program. And in these two sections, we are going to be multiplying and dividing with rational numbers. So again, I feel like this will be a lot of review. We just have to be careful of our negative numbers. And maybe you'll be learning a trick that you haven't seen before that's going to help you with simplifying your answers. So in the first section, of course, we're just going to do some multiplying. So let's just dive right in and see what that looks like. So just to review, if you have two fractions that you're multiplying, typically we would multiply straight across. So normally we would do 2 times 3, which is 6, 5 times 16, which is 80, and then we would have to reduce this guy. So we'd have to think about what's going to go into 6 and what's going to go into 80. And, eventually we get to 3/40. But I'm going to show you a different way that's going to help at the end if you find this easier. So let's say, again, I start with 2/5 and I have 3/16. Now I'm going to look at what's called the cross products. So I'm going to look at a number on the top and a number on the bottom. So I'm going to look at 2 and I'm going to look at 16. And both of those numbers are divisible by 2. So I'm going to start actually by dividing each of them by 2. So 2 divided by 2 is 1, and 16 divided by 2 is 8. And when I look at 3 and 5, they don't have any common numbers, so there's nothing else I can do there. Now when I multiply straight across, I would get 1 times 3, which is 3, and then 5 times 8, which is 40. And now my answer is in lowest form. So when you divide with the cross products before you multiply the fractions, it actually saves you from having to reduce at the end. Now, the first way that we talked about here will always work, but I'm giving you an alternative, and this is the way that I'm going to practice throughout the lesson, just to see if you guys would get comfortable with it. I do feel like it's very helpful and easier and saves you time at the end. So that is what we're going to practice as we move through. All right, next example. What happens if we have a mixed number, 3 1/4 times 2/11? Well, remember, we're going to have to take that mixed number and change it into an improper fraction. So we do bottom times the whole plus the top. So 4 times 3 is 12 plus 1 is 13, all over 4. Why won't this thing work this morning? Times 2/11. And now I'm going to look at my cross products. 13 and 11 don't have any commonalities, but 2 and 4 do. 2 divided by 2 is 1, and 4 divided by 2 is 2. And now I'm going to multiply straight across here. So I have 13 times 1, which is 13, and 2 times 11, which is 22. And that top number is prime, and we are not going to be able to reduce that anymore. So it's 13/22. Okay, what if we throw in something like 2 times -7/12? Well, now we have a negative and what appears to be not a fraction in our number 2. But I could make 2 a fraction simply by putting it over 1. 2 divided by 1 is 2, so that would work. And now I could rewrite this guy as -7/12, excuse me. And now I can check my cross products. So again, I see 2 and 12. They both have a divisor of 2. So 2 divided by 2 is 1. 12 divided by 2 is 6. And now I'm ready to multiply. So now I multiply across here. 1 times -7 is -7. 1 times 6 is 6. But look at my answer. My top number is bigger than my bottom number, which means I need to reduce this into a mixed number. So ask yourself, how many times does 6 go into 7 without going over? It goes 1 time. How many is left over? there's 1 left over, and we put that over the divisor. So our answer is -1 1/6. Okay, I have one more example of this multiplication for you. And of course, this is pre-algebra, and it would not be pre-algebra if I didn't throw some letters in there. You're welcome. Everybody groans when they see letters. I'm sorry, my stylus is not working today, and I don't know why. Okay, so we're going to start by looking at the cross products just like we did before. I'm going to start with 2 and 10. Both are divisible by 2. 2 divided by 2 is 1. 10 divided by 2 is 5. And now I'm going to look at my other set of cross products. And look, I see a C in both of them. And what this means is if I have a C on the top and a C on the bottom, I'm going to multiply by C and then divide by C, which just gives me 1. So for your purposes, what that means is that you can divide C by C and get 1 for both of these guys, and they go away. Now just be careful with all of your notations here. See what you have left. I have 6 times 1, which is 6. I still have a D here, so I'm going to multiply by D. And then on the bottom, I have 5 times 1, which is 5. Now, when we have expressions with letters, we don't typically change them into mixed numbers. So this is going to be the answer we're looking for, particularly when you have some sort of variable in your expression. Okay. Moving on to section 4, now we're going to talk about division and multiplicative inverse. Now that's kind of a big fancy word. It's super fun. Multiplicative inverse. So basically, you might have heard of this before, but the multiplicative inverse is what is the value that we have to multiply the number by so that the product is 1. There was a lot of mathematical terms in there. Let's see if you caught it. Okay, so what value do I have to multiply 4/7 by so that I get 1? And the easy answer is I just have to flip the fraction around. Because when I flip it over and I multiply across, I get 28 over 28, which of course is 1. Okay, if we have a mixed number, like 5 3/8, and we want to know what the multiplicative inverse is, first we have to convert that to an improper fraction. So again, bottom times the whole plus the top would give me 43/8. So the multiplicative inverse is 8/43. That would give me the product of 1. All right, and remember, what if we just had an integer and we wanted the multiplicative inverse? Well, remember 6, we could write 6/1. So the multiplicative inverse would be 1/6. Okay? All right, make sure you get all of that in your notes. And then the last thing is dividing these values. So yesterday, or today actually, you're multiplying, and tomorrow you're going to divide. So dividing is the same as multiplying. We just have to do one extra step. 2/5. Okay, we don't know how to divide fractions, but we do know how to multiply them. So in order to multiply, you take your second fraction and flip it over. And now we can do exactly what we did yesterday. So again, you could just multiply across and simplify, or you can do what I'm going to do, which is look at your cross products and see the commonality. So 5 divided by 5 is 1. 5 divided by 5 is 1. But now look, I can actually do it to the other set of cross products too. 2 divided by 2 is 1. 4 divided by 2 is 2. And now I can multiply straight across. 2 times 1 is 2. And 1 times 1 is 1. 2 divided by 1 is simply 2. Okay, guys, so at this point, I want you to finish up your notes, read through the examples, and begin your assignments. Good luck.